everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be the third installment in my Are They Accurate series looking at the American Girl dresses. And today's video is going to focus on the 1850s girls. So we are talking about Marie Grace, Cecile, and of course, Kirsten. All three of which take place almost exactly at the same time. So Marie Grace and Cecile actually come in first. If you're not familiar with their stories, they take place in 1853 and 54 in New Orleans. And Cecile is well off and Marie Grace is a doctor's daughter. So she is less well off, but she is still comfortable, we'll just say it that way. And then Kirsten, who you are probably familiar with, her story actually slightly overlaps with theirs, and hers takes place from 1854 to 1856, except that she is a very, very poor farmer's daughter in Minnesota, fresh off the boat immigrant from Sweden, to the point where like her family do not own their own house, they don't own their own land, they pretty much don't own anything, and they have so little money that she wasn't allowed to bring her doll with her, carrying her doll from like the general store area in the nearest town a couple of hours walk away. So yes, extremely, extremely poor. Just keep that in mind. I believe that Kirsten actually would probably be the poorest of all of the historical American girls, even including Kit, whose family was going to lose their house during the Great Depression. So we are going to start chronologically here. Marie Grace and Cecile, they do share their stories. So they are two best friends who share the same 6 books. It kind of alternates every other book. So I'm going to use them kind of interchangeably because their collections actually are interchangeable. They were released with a couple of items that were like each of theirs and then some that were shared. They're also more modern girls, as in they were released more recently, 2011. Meaning, if you've watched my other videos on this, which I will link down below, I've already covered the 18th century and the early 1800s, the dolls that have come out more recently tend to be less historically accurate. So that is kind of your foreshadowing for this video. So we are going to start right here with Cecile, who is right next to me in her super, super cute little outfit here. Now, I feel like this outfit has nods of historical style, but to be honest, is not very historically accurate whatsoever. So we are looking at like really like almost a charmeuse type satin, very thin, very drapey, very shiny. And we have a little bodice here with some pleating in the center, little velvet bands, which I believe are kind of meant to imitate a Bertha, but are not really giving us 1850s in this way. Like, yes, this could have been an element on a different dress, but this dress overall is very much costume, very much like interpretation. I do appreciate that the collar is actually velvet, that we have a velvet band down here. We also have a hat that matches. It's kind of like a little toque style hat, I believe is what it's called. And having her hair all nice and curled like this for a child, honestly, probably pretty decent. I also do like the pin tuck detail on here, but just overall the combination of it doesn't quite work. I do like her little button boots, and one element that is very much out of place here is the fact that one of the accessories you could buy for Cecile and Marie Grace was a cage crinoline. So let's just show off this little crinoline here. The problem is their stories take place in 53, 54. The cage crinoline was patented in 56. So they would not actually have been wearing a caged crinoline, they would have been wearing lots of layers of petticoats. And actually that's one thing that you cannot buy for them, or could not when they were released. They had no petticoats. Even with the crinoline, it came with a chemise, but no petticoat, which you can kind of maybe tell it just makes it very bumpy and kind of misshapen to not have a petticoat under there. I do like the little pantalettes sticking out. That is a very true detail for this era. Girls' dresses were cut shorter and you would see the pantalettes, the stockings, the boots, etc. underneath. So lengthwise, that's great. It's just that it's taking a lot of elements from different things, kind of combining it together into something that doesn't quite work. Next up, this is Marie Grace. So she is, again, the exact same era. You can tell from her dress that it looks like she has a little less money, so that's good. Like, she doesn't come off quite as wealthy as Cecile. I like her little pin curls here, though I feel like they are a holdover from the 1830s, and then having this whole long straight situation would not have happened. Like, her hair would have been very much more like Cecile's hair than what you're seeing here. She does have a cute little braid twist in back, but again, not accurate. She's got a nice little hat here, but it's not really the right sort of shape for this era. Also, I feel like we're taking elements of historical things again. Like, if you take a look at this fashion plate right here, you can kind of see a shape similar to this, but again, this is just like not done correctly enough to actually get that look from the fashion plates. So close, not quite. Her skirt is a lot narrower. I do believe it still can fit over that hoop skirt, but it is a little less full than Cecile's. I do like the plaid. I think that's really cute. I don't know about the pink plaid so much being accurate, but it's a very cute color, cute pattern. And again, her boots feel a little bit later to me, but not too bad. And she has the longer pantalettes as well. Okay, we're gonna start with some of the better outfits for Marie Grace and Cecile. And unlike the original American Girls, where like the outfits very much went with the books, these outfits are just kind of random for the most part, and therefore have names like parlor set or like skirt and blouse set, or like they don't really have real names. So in any case, there's this one right here. This is honestly one of my favorites of theirs, and I think that the whole look is pretty close. Like, yes, the collar is oversized, but not too bad. We've got a cute little peplum here with a little ruffle. That's honestly a pretty good detail. We do have a short sleeve. It would have been a little bit more appropriate, most likely, to be a longer sleeve. That said, we are in New Orleans, and in the South, they did sometimes wear shorter sleeves, especially for younger children. So I don't hate it, and I love the bow detail. I think that's so cute. These are separates, which is kind of fun, except that there's not really mix and match capability within their wardrobes, but I do like that they're separates. It does give a little more versatility, and yeah, overall, not too bad. It's a very cute outfit. I like the print of it as well. I think that's very cute. So, and it's a wonderful color. Just overall, I'd say this is probably the best in their set. This one is probably my second favorite. This one is Cecile's parlor outfit, and this is actually a three-piece set. So we have a separate blouse here, a little short sleeve jacket over the top of it, and then the skirt. And again, honestly, we're taking a lot of looks here that are pretty darn accurate. I really like, again, the sort of rounded Peter Pan collar on the blouse with the touch of lace around the neckline. This is very cute, and you do see jackets that are kind of similar of this time, and I appreciate that they layered the short sleeve over the long sleeve, because that was actually something that was done at the time. And I like, we've got the little faux buttons on the front here too. There is Velcro underneath, and then the skirt, again, this is honestly a pretty historical looking print right here. So yeah, not mad about that at all. I think this is a super cute outfit. Now, I do not own the summer outfits for either Marie Grace or Cecile, unfortunately, because those things run for like $175, and so I will probably never have them. They are pretty decent historically speaking though. But now we're going to get into some outfits that start to go off the deep end, starting with Marie Grace's party set right here. Now, honestly, like the cut of this, I love it. It's such a cute cut. The colors are where we run into a little difficulty. I feel like they kind of went for like Mardi Gras colors as opposed to colors that would have been historically accurate. But similar to her skirt set that you saw, the blue one, this is honestly, it's pretty similar. We have a little peplum top. We've got this time a little pointed edge lace Peter Pan collar, buttons on the front, little bow around the waist. And the striped skirt, it's not bad, it's just that the colors don't really work historically speaking. But again, this is separates, this is two pieces, and we've got the sort of elbow length sleeve. So yeah, overall, like shape-wise, great, colors, not so much. And unfortunately, these last two are where we really lose the historical accuracy in the collection of Marie Grace and Cecile. This is Cecile's holiday dress. It's sad, honestly. For one thing, it's cotton, which I guess you could argue like, oh, but it's hot in New Orleans, so it's good to have cotton. But it doesn't make sense for that to be like her party dress, for that to be something nice. Also, the waist is really dropped on this. I don't know why it's so dropped when like the waists of the other outfits hit the right spot. You would not have had a dropped waist. Honestly, this to me reads almost more 1920s than anything else. Like, we've got a super, super short sleeve. I don't know if that's supposed to be a Bertha detail. It's just velvet ribbon. It's a really nice 1920s dress, but it's too bad that they're set in the 1850s. And lastly, we have an outfit that is almost totally fantasy. It's very reflective in the light here because it is made out of like the cheapest satin that ever existed. This is like, it's so thin, and literally if you look at it wrong, it catches on things. I mean, the way that Velcro can get stuck on this, like there's just little hairs that come off everywhere. This is the poorest quality fabric imaginable. I do think that it does give some nods to 1850s style, like it has kind of a faux Bertha, even though it's not, it's actually like part of the bodice. I do think the puffed sleeve is nice, this little double puffed sleeve. And then it has like kind of the cute layered skirt look, which was actually a thing. Not necessarily with this sort of brought up one piece here and then one piece underneath, but it's not bad. But then like the colors are awful. The fabric is just atrocious. And the bodice also sits really pretty long on her, and it seems very low for a child as well. This dress also, you could purchase like all of these silly little accessories for it, like wings and a crown. It is meant to be a masquerade outfit. So like, yes, this is fancy dress, but it just isn't the greatest. This outfit did also come with a very, very cute coat, and honestly the coat shape is pretty darn good, but coat shapes of the time were just kind of like large and went out to be able to fit over skirts. So again, color, so wrong, but this one's actually made out of a pretty nice velvet, and I like the little fur trim detail, so at least I do have to give them that. But this one, I guess maybe it's not as bad as the holiday dress, but it is not great. And that is it for the collection of Marie Grace and Cecile. Everything else that I have for you in this video is actually Kirsten's. So let's start with Kirsten herself. Now, Kirsten, again, very poor pioneer girl, fresh off the boat from Sweden. And so we're looking at outfits that are going to be very much kind of like that Little House on the Prairie type style, though I think that actually took place like significantly later in time than the 1850s. It's been a long time since I've read those books. But yeah, we're looking for hallmarks such as gathered bodices, like bodices that are gathered into the waistbands, fuller skirts, usually fuller sleeves, high collars, those sort of hallmarks. And then we also do have some examples of slightly more traditional Swedish dress. So this outfit right here, again, this is her meet outfit, and it is very much prairie girl, like cottagecore prairie girl. And we have a bodice that's gathered into the waistline. We have a skirt with one pin tuck on it, and we have a nice little like practical apron. This is her spoon bag that is meant to have been embroidered, and you can see it's been embroidered with the year as well. Just a little lightweight cotton bonnet, just very practical, very cute. Little leather shoes that are kind of soft soled, probably not the best for farm, but you know, inexpensive. So overall, I'd say not bad. We have some hallmarks of the era, but in a way that it's like good for someone who doesn't really have money. Now, of course, that said, because she's really meant not to have money, she would not have had this many outfits, but we're gonna forgive that. At least they're all pretty simple. This one you're probably kind of familiar with because I just made this outfit for myself. So I have talked about this outfit before, but we have, again, bodice gathered into waistband, gathered waist skirt, buttons up the front, high collar, short sleeves, because this one is a summer dress, and yes, it does even get hot in Minnesota. Tucks around the bottom, 2 layers of the tucks, nice big straw hat. That is actually an element of the story, that she's so excited to be able to get a straw hat instead of having to wear her bonnet when it is so hot. And then we've got some nice practical red boots here. I do find it interesting that these are also her winter boots. You obviously would not have been wearing the same boots in Minnesota in the winter as you would have in the summer, because that would not make any sense. but we'll forgive it because they're really cute red boots. This next one is her birthday outfit, and if you've been around my channel since last year, you will also recognize this one because I made this cosplay last summer. This was, I think, the second American Girl cosplay that I made for myself. And again, it's kind of similar to the others. This one, we don't actually have a gathered front bodice. It's a fitted bodice underneath this pinafore. Little puffed sleeves in here, and just a cute little like lace trimmed pinafore. It's kind of trimmed with bric-a-brac, actually, to be honest, which, you know, would not have been a thing, but it does give off the look of lace. Of course, Kirsten wouldn't have been able to afford lace, but again, we will excuse that. And it's just sort of a pink check with the white apron and the cute little flower crown. Again, very, very cute. Definitely outside of Kirsten's wealth amount, but it is cute, and it has a mixture of hallmarks of the era with kind of that cottagecore and also kind of like the typical baby doll look. But overall, it's not bad. This is Kirsten's On the Trail dress. Honestly, I really like this dress. I think that it does a lot with like kind of that prairie look, but also it feels much more homespun and actually a little bit more traditional Swedish because we have really, really nice embroidery going on in here. And to be perfectly honest, either they had a really nice like chain stitch machine to do all of this on, or they hand embroidered this. I can't imagine that it's done by hand, so it's probably like a really awesome chain stitch machine, but frankly, that is gorgeous embroidery. Like, it's one of my favorite things about this outfit, but I also do like that this is a very like homespun type fabric. We've got a little tuck at the bottom again. This bodice is also gathered into the waist, buttons up the front, high neck, short sleeve. Like, we have some hallmarks of Kirsten going on in kind of most of her looks, don't we? And I also like the really kind of rough homespun shawl with the little embroidery around the shawl as well. I think that that's just very cute. Overall, it's a really nice outfit, and I feel like, again, it speaks more to her income level and also to her family background. So this one is actually one of my favorite Kirsten looks, and that is because this dress it's actually more 1840s than it is 1850s, but like it's very 1840s and it's late 40s. So late 40s, or like it could go into early 50s. Also, she lives on a farm. Things get there a lot slower, so, you know, not bad. But this is just, again, very 1840s, like having this cute little sleeve ruffle up at the top. We have a very fan front bodice going on here. Again, we've got another tuck on the skirt. This one also has really nice lace-up boots with the contrast toe and heel that go with it, Peter Pan collar. Just overall, this one feels very accurate. It feels like something that, you know, even an adult would wear. I think it also helps that it has long sleeves, and I love that the sleeves are actually on the bias of the fabric as opposed to the straight, which was very common for sleeves to be cut on a bias because that's how you get a really, really nice fitted sleeve, but you're still able to move your arm. So yeah, overall, I think that the work dress is just probably one of the best examples of historical accuracy in Kirsten's collection. In kind of a similar vein is her school dress. Has a very different look to it because this one we just kind of get a full sleeve going on, but we do again have the sort of fan front bodice here and a skirt with two tucks on it. These are growth tucks. I've talked about this in some of the other videos, but they would put growth tucks in skirts for children so that as the children grew, the skirts could grow with them. And this one has a nice like homespun shawl that goes with it. So this just feels very practical, pretty autumnal, which is nice since it's her school dress. And I also really like the pattern on this. I think that that little calico is a very cute and very historically accurate pattern. I do find it interesting that apparently the first version of this dress had little, I think they were division signs on the dress, like as the pattern, which seems a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think it still worked from a visual like calico pattern. So it's kind of sad that they took that away, but this one that looks like little wings or little tulips or something like that also works very well. And the last three Kirsten outfits that I have to share with you, a couple of them are kind of her most iconic, like her winter outfit, but these are all a little more cultural than they are like you know, Western historical fashion, etc. So this is her winter outfit. This is actually like 2.5 sets that I'm showing you here, because the winter woolens, the hat, the mittens, and the sweater, they were sold separately from the winter skirt and winter blouse, which is underneath here. And then the ice skates were actually, I believe, sold with her coat, which is a whole different piece here and is wonderful. I think the coat, scarf, and ice skates were all sold together. So this, I guess we're looking really at 3 sets here, but I love this outfit. But I was doing some research and I did actually find out a little bit more about this knitwear set. So knitwear in the Scandinavian region, it actually dates back to the 15th century. So like that's all well and good, and they probably would have worn stuff like this, but not in this pattern. So I looked up this pattern online. This is called the Selbu Rose pattern, this little like snowflake sort of situation going on right here. And that Selbu Rose pattern was actually designed in 1857, or that's kind of like the first evidence that they have of someone doing it was 1857. So this specific pattern would not have been something Kirsten would have worn. However, the knitwear in general is, and I believe this type of skirt is also pretty traditional with the bands around the bottom. I know I've actually seen this in like Nordic dress, but Norway is right next to Sweden, so I'm hoping that maybe that is also something that would show up in Swedish dress as well. I didn't come across this exact skirt style, but we are just looking at like a woolen type skirt with the colored bands around the bottom. As far as the coat goes, we kind of again have a similar shaped coat to Cecile and Marie Grace's coat. It is just very wide out at the bottom to go over the skirts. I love the little pointed hood on this with the little tassel, and this one is nice, thick, and heavy. And honestly, I think it is probably made out of real wool. I think all of her stuff is actually, like, the stuff that's supposed to be wool is made out of real wool, which is a nice detail. And it has the little scarf as well, which has little hearts on it. So it's just overall very cute. It has little toggles up the front instead of buttons. I really like this whole set. I love her little ice skates. They buckle on. These are not her shoes because her shoes are being worn with the summer outfit. These would have gone over the red boots, but they're such a cool shape of ice skates. I love the little curled toe, which I do believe was quite accurate to at least the 1800s. Like, they're very similar to Caroline skates. So yeah, overall, I love this outfit and it looks really good on Elizabeth too. Next up, we have Kirsten's dirndl outfit. Yes, dirndl outfit. You may notice a little problem there. That is a German word. They did not call these dirndls. They called these, excuse my pronunciation, folkdracht. That is kind of the Swedish equivalent. Now that said, there are outfits that are kind of similar to this that are in the realm of folkdracht. There were hundreds of different types of folkdracht because they were unique to like each individual region and sometimes each individual village within Sweden. So it's hard to say for sure whether like, yes, this is accurate, no, it's not. Most likely there would have been an apron involved because it does seem like most of them had aprons, and I didn't really come across any that had plaid in my research. I found a really great website that goes through a lot of different folkdracht, so I will link that down below in case you're interested. But yeah, it's close, but it's not quite there, and the name is totally wrong. And last up, we have what I would say is honestly probably Kirsten's most iconic outfit, more so even than her meet outfit, which is her St. Lucia outfit right here. I am absolutely in love with this look. We've got the little striped socks, the white soft robe with the little red sash, and the amazing full wreath full of candles. I just absolutely love this. That said, it's not actually historically accurate to Kirsten's time. Now, the St. Lucia Day celebrations, that has been going on for ages and ages and ages. But the celebrations actually changed significantly in kind of the like late 1880s to early 1900s to become the tradition that is really described in Kirsten's book. So Although the appearance of like a white robe-clad Saint Lucia does apparently date back to the 1760s, it did not become popular in Swedish society until around 1900, and the tradition of like the child dressed up all in white that brings the buns around in the morning, which Kirsten talks about in the book, that didn't come about until around the 1880s. So unfortunately, it is a little too modern for Kirsten and for her stories, which is too bad because it's such a big part of her stories and it is, again, such an iconic look. So, I mean, that said, like, I don't care as much about the historical accuracy in this case as I do about the amazingly beautiful outfit. I mean, I think Molly's doing a good job of like cosplaying Kirsten, cosplaying Saint Lucia here. But yeah, I love this outfit, but unfortunately, not historically accurate. And that covers all of the outfits that I have for the 1850s. So as you could probably tell by this video, there were a lot of 1850s girls, which is why the 1860s is going to be their own separate video. Plus, let's face it, like Addie's collection is so amazing that I think she deserves her own video all herself. So yes, next time for part of this series, next month, you will get Addie's collection all as a standalone video, and then will come Samantha and Nellie, and that's probably going to be its own video because I think Samantha has too many outfits to share with other time periods, meaning that if I continue the series forward and do another video, like Rebecca would be in her own separate video, for example. So yeah, I've been enjoying doing this series so far. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying watching it. I've been hearing some great comments back that you have. So if you did like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. Also, do let me know in the comments if you want me to continue on past Samantha too. I do post videos here on YouTube at least once a week with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and sometimes other costume or American Girl related content like this out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks right here on YouTube. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Sharon, Mirage, Laura, Jean, and Janelle. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!